Jeep, Jeep, Jeep. It's a Jeep. When you lock it, it goes beep. 2016 Jeep Renegade with an Alfa Romeo engine and a Chrysler 9-speed gearbox. Right, let's get on to the interesting stuff. Just look at it. Isn't it a rather stylish Jeepy thing? It's quite short, it's quite tall. It looks a little bit like it wants to be a Fiat Panda, but it's not. Although it is based on a Fiat 500, which is a bit like a Panda. In fact, it used to be a Panda. Yes, it is rather chunky and purposeful looking. At the moment, I quite like it. I like all of these, what would you call them, arches. It is curious that the side repeater is there at the front rather than there. And now it turns out that's not even an indicator, it's just a reflector. How American is that? The indicator's on the mirror there. It does look ever so slightly like a Mini Clubman from the front. Not the Mini Clubman that you're used to seeing, but the old one from the 70s. Although this one has eyebrows or eyelids, I'm not really sure. I can't tell whether it makes it look angry or like it's half asleep. I might not be the only one to see this, but to me the front wing looks a bit like a rocking horse. A-pillars as thick as the people who buy them, and the glass has rather square edges everywhere, pointy bits, but it's not frameless, so you're not going to cut anything off. The roof rails look rather sturdy and purposeful, and there's a spider in the fuel filler flap. My favourite observation about this car though came from years and years back, and it's these rear lamps. Does anybody remember those 1960s tea towel holders that they'd have in the kitchen of their nan's house? That's what they were thinking of when they designed that. Except this has got glasses on. Renegade. Like that. That's what I will always think of. 18-inch wheels. Let's look inside, shall we? Oh, what about the door shut sound? Oh, nice sturdy handle. Yeah, it's alright that. Still doing that. And it has some leather seats with the old Jeep logo on there as well. I think it might actually be real leather. What a novelty. I wonder if you happen to know the Yemen national anthem.
No.
Grab handles everywhere, not on the A-pillars though. Here, proper off-roader should have them on the A-pillars. But it's got one on the driver's side as well. And as a passenger, you can be a double grabber because you can grab there and grab there, provided you've got only two hands. The design of this grab handle with incorporated air vent is rather pleasing to the eye actually. It looks like a great big door handle. The air vents there seem to be looking at me, and on the rev counter it looks ever so slightly like they haven't coloured it all in properly. This one has a 9-speed automatic gearbox, which if you ask me is maybe too many gears, and a nice display there. Does it go on without the ignition? No, it doesn't. Oh, it does. Yes, it does. And it reminds you that you're in a Jeep as well, which was apparently established in 1941. These are all quite nice wheels, nice to operate, nice soft feel on there. And oh look, now we can mess about with the diff lock and stuff like that. Would that be a good idea? Dashboard all feels rather firm. In fact, actually the quality of the materials is quite good. Except for that bit. Leather steering wheel of course, with as many buttons on there as you like, which of course is maybe too many. And we have a man spitting away there, shouting about something. Look at that big chiseled jaw he's got. He's definitely the kind of man you don't want on the phone to you, shouting at you, making you feel intimidated. You poor bastard. Something's really surprised me though. For 2016, look, it actually has somewhere for you to conveniently place your key. That's a novelty. Normally you've just got to hold on to it and hope you don't lose it. Heated seat, heated steering wheel, off. And then passenger airbags, not a button is it, it's just telling it there is a passenger airbag. And something else that you can switch off, which presumably is that your ability to open a door whilst driving on the motorway.
It does have...
I quite like it, it's not too complicated. And for a man like me, oh no, it's got an electronic handbrake. Don't like that. Joe's going to open the bonnet because apparently it's a rather
Hold this bonnet.
complicated... Hey?
This is how light it is.
Well, why do you need to do that with your bonnet?
Well, for a car that's meant to be an off-roader, a Jeep, you'd think a Jeep would be a solid metal heavy bonnet.
It's aluminium.
Yeah. Multi-jet.
It has two bonnet catches that look like frogs with their tongues out. And underneath the bonnet we find a Fiat multi-jet. Is it? No, hang on.
Was it Fiat and Alfa?
Fiat.
Same either, but Alfa Romeo and Fiat are the same brand, really.
Or Alfa. It depends really on whether you're showing off or not. Because of course, Fiat are the boss, aren't they? Alfa's just the little flamboyant car manufacturer that does as it's told. I'll add a sound effect to that.
Boing.
I can't decide if I like this car from the front or not. In one way it looks rather handsome, and in another it doesn't. This car has an electric handbrake, and according to Joe it will go off automatically, but you have to have your seatbelt on first, which I don't understand why. Parking sensors, that's a good thing. It is a good thing as well because it's got a massive blind spot at the back of there. I mean, like one of the biggest blind spots I think I've ever seen, or not seen, so to speak. Although the bonnet is quite short on this and it's quite a small SUV, the front end looks to be a very, very long way off because I'm sat quite low in the seat and the bulkhead is kind of high up, and I couldn't reach the windscreen if I tried. Not that you need to be touching the windscreen very often. The mirrors do slightly seem in the wrong place, but as you'd expect, it kind of drives like a car. It is a car, although it has off-road capabilities just like that, but it is very small. And another thing I've noticed as well, I think the indicators are too loud. Underneath the bonnet the engine is a 170 brake horsepower lump, so you're going to expect it to be a bit nippy, you know, a bit fruity, a bit responsive to the old right foot. And here we go, foot down. Well, it's not bad actually. The steering's really rather precise actually. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it's actually quite chuckable. It's a very easy car. It's a very, I mean, besides the front being so high up and feeling like you're sat sort of way too low down, it's pretty good actually. Fuel economy is not too good on them though, apparently. In fact, you're going to struggle to get 30 miles per gallon out of this, which is just a 2 litre diesel. Whether it's because the car is actually quite heavy or the particular engine itself is just not really very refined. Getting back to these mirrors, they are at least big. They're van-like, which means for backing up you can actually properly see what you're actually doing. And now I'm in the rather curious situation of being held up by a BMW going less than 40 miles per hour. Well, it's easy to drive, it's easy to get in and out of, it's kind of just all round easiness, but it's very, very typical of a modern car, though it does have, I will say, it does have some charm to it because it does look very different to other cars, and that's what car manufacturers should be aspiring to do, is make something individual like this, like the Nissan Juke that nobody likes, but at least it looks like itself rather than everything else. Mainstream car manufacturing does tend to fall into that trap of everything being kind similar to each other, probably because they don't want to lose any popularity with somebody who wants something a bit like what they have, but they're not really quite brave enough to make something that different. And that's possibly why something like this, which does have the added benefits of looking individual, you don't see that many about. Because in today's world, the majority of people want to blend in rather than stand out. And I think that's a bit sad, really. And with that, I am going to give this car full marks for styling, actually, because even if I can say I don't like it massively, I like how bold it is. And it doesn't look like they've tried to go out of their way to make something that looks completely different. It just looks to me like somebody's had a vision of what their car should look like, and they've made it, rather than having the idea, then turning it into an Audi. As far as drivability is concerned, yep, it's all good. It's all easy. It doesn't really have any amazing character in the way it drives. Then we have build quality, which fair enough isn't going to be as good as something like some of the German cars, but it's definitely good enough. It doesn't really need to be any better than what it is. It's fine. And personally, I would prefer to have something that lacks a little bit in the quality department if it's got a bit of flair. So here we are again, me singing the praises of a car that you'd imagine I just wouldn't really like that much. What this car will be like to live with every day, I don't really know, obviously, but as a blast out, yeah, I liked it quite a bit. So thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and be very nice and share it, and subscribe to Cars with JC as well, because he is there. Yeah, him, that man there. Subscribe to his channel. See, that's why he's got his thumbs up. I am quite surprised he doesn't have a parking camera though. Anyway, thank you.